Good evening, everyone. It is 7:30, and I would like to call the Fridley School Board meeting to order. I invite you all to stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, and we have an agenda in front of us, and if there are not any changes or any discussions on the agenda, then we could approve it.
So moved.
There's a motion.
Second.
And a second. So we have a motion by Stark and a second by Pareto. Any other discussion on the agenda? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We have an agenda. And the highlight of our meetings, we start off with recognition on Employee of the Month, Dr. Heil.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair Meisner and school board members. It's with pleasure that we say congratulations to Donna Klingenberg, our Employee of the Month for April. Donna has been in the role of accounting technician for Fridley Public Schools for less than 2 years. In that short amount of time, Donna has provided stability, clarity, and efficiency for the finance department. She has gone above and beyond completing her assigned duties, providing other assistance, regardless of what they may entail. Donna did not hesitate to offer her time, knowledge, and strong work ethic when asked to take on additional responsibilities of payroll duties when the finance department was short-staffed. She understood the importance of ensuring Fridley Public Schools employees were paid correctly and on time, and that's an important thing to have. She has assisted employees with multiple questions regarding their banking information, federal and state form completion, and general payroll questions. She does this all with respect, patience, and clearness. She assists with other departments and staff members with any purchasing, credit card, and vendor questions they may have. She simply assists where needed, letting others know she is there to lend a hand. She provides a high level of customer service. Our department is truly honored to have Donna as part of our team, and that was written by Barbie Raisler, Department of Finance and Operations.
Wonderful. Congratulations, Donna, and thank you for your great service. Our next item on the agenda is a presentation from the Hayes Elementary principal, Principal Iverson. Come on up.
Hi, everybody. So I'm Gailey Iverson, principal at Hayes. Thank you so much for having me, Board Chair Meisner, board members, and Superintendent Heil. So I'm really excited to spend some time with you. And I just wanted to say I did have a couple friends that were going to be coming with me, but due to illness, they had to bow out. So Miss Kara Claggett and Miss Anna Zawatsky both wanted to be here this evening, so I wanted to name that. So I get the honor of sharing my tower with all of you, and this little presentation will kind of share and highlight some of the things that we've done over the last couple years to get our announcements to a place that really celebrates all of our scholars and our staff. So first and foremost, did you know that a group of giraffes is called a tower?
I did not know that.
So a little bit of a learning for you. So when we went into distance learning, we really wanted to figure out a way to stay connected. So the idea of Tower Talks kind of came out of COVID. So when we think about COVID keepers, right? Like this is one of those things that allowed us to stay connected as a group of giraffes while we were away. And it's kind of evolved. So I want to talk through that. So as you can see, when we kind of came on board together, we were really kind of teacher-centered in our approach with our announcements. In the morning, I got on and I was able to share a welcome with the staff and with the students. But it was really just me talking at kids and talking at adults. So as we kind of brainstormed collaboratively together, we thought, let's take a more of a collective approach. So over time, you can see we kind of started with morning announcements over the speaker, and then we traveled into like a weekly announcement that had a little bit of videography. And then from there, it was kind of like the Miss Iverson and Jack show. Jack is our school mascot. And so we did that for a while. And then we recognized that our students really wanted to be a part of this, and they really wanted to get on board and kind of be a part of the Miss Iverson and Jack show that we celebrated each other every week. So from there, we kind of moved into having our scholars be a part of it and saying, I want to be a part of the Tower Talk. And we gradually got more and more people involved. And what's really exciting is where we kind of have come to is a place where Tower Talks are something that all of our families and our scholars and our staff want to be a part of. So we've kind of moved away from me talking at people over the announcements to this really beautiful Tower Talk that celebrates our kids and our staff each week. So, as I mentioned, everybody wants to be in the Tower Talk. So many times a week, people are like, I have a special talent. I want to share my strength. Can I be on the Tower Talk? Even our staff will ask if they can volunteer to be a part of it. It gives agency and student voice to our kids and to our staff to share who they are. It really highlights their strengths. We also get to acknowledge kids on Fridays, so kids get spotted. And in this short video, well, it's kind of short. In this short video, you're gonna see a kindergarten class that's kind of getting acknowledged, and you'll see the excitement in that space. It teaches core values. It allows us a time to really remind ourselves and ground ourselves in being safe, responsible, and kind. And then it also gets to share our beautifully diverse community. And we've done a lot of work with celebrating culture and language in our space. So this is a video that's going to highlight some of the things that you would see in the Tower Talk, and also a little bit of kind of talking around what it means to our staff.
What Tower Talks means to me is that, every week we're going to get special invitations and special news and special events that's going to be coming up throughout the rest of the year. And also we always have our friend Jack and his helpers who are always there to talk about upcoming things that we should be aware of.
I'm wearing my very special t-shirt that was gifted to us by Jack, our great mascot. He was so excited about this fun run that he decided every single kid in our building is going to get a t-shirt.
You can be safe, kind, and responsible. And then something you can also do is try to include everyone in this building. Everyone is important in this building. Don't count anyone out.
Hi guys, we're doing something else, and Miss Jenny's gonna do it with me. So let's her speak now.
Well, we're talking about Tower Talk, and what does Tower Talk mean to you? Tower Talk means to me a way for us all to connect every Friday, and it is a way for all of us to see who was being safe, kind, and
responsible.
Yeah, I love seeing our scholars get spotted. How about you, Andrew?
Yeah, I love when you can come down to get prizes, because you don't know if you are or not. So it's kind of like surprising if you did.
So you love when you're watching Tower Talk and you get surprised if you were spotted?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when almost everybody got a whole class, and that's why we're all gonna get like prizes.
All right, boys and girls, it's Friday. We're here at Hayes, the #1 school in all of the elementaries in Minnesota, and we are gonna watch our Tower Talk.
So let's get on with our giraffe spot winners for this week, starting off with our kindergartners. We have AJ, Talia, Naran, Nursen, Vamari, Cam, Camilla, Henry, Avai, Ava, Leon, Yaya. And welcome.
Let's give them a that was incredible! This was from January 7th of 2022. Talia, that was the very first time that we met, right? So Talia, we got to meet you, and you were spotted in the Tower Talk. And you were spotted for being safe, being kind, and being responsible. Beautiful. Yes, you guys spotted. Lots of friends have been spotted. All right, boys and girls, good job watching the Tower Talk. It's always fun to celebrate everyone here at Hayes and for being safe, being kind, and being responsible. And thanks for coming to our Tower Talk today.
Hello, I'm Juanita Reichstedt. I'm the school social worker here at Hayes Elementary. And I am also part of the social emotional learning team here at Hayes. And I love the Tower Talk because we get to also put in the Tower Talk about things like zones of regulations and show kids certain social skills to be successful in the classroom. How to walk in the hallway, how to be a good friend. And it is awesome. And the kids, the best thing about the Tower Talk is our scholars get to be a part of it and model that zones of regulations, or how to walk in the hallway properly, or what's not the right way to walk in the hallway. So that's why I love the Tower Talk.
When you are a bucket filler, you make your home, your school, and your neighborhood better places to be. Bucket filling makes everyone feel good.
Thank you. You are my stars. Thank you. Now we're going to keep walking. Voices are off. Walk in the hall. Keep going. Good job.
I love spreading my kindness to everybody. Everybody loves spreading their kindness to me, so I spread all my kindness to them. My heart feels like I'm breaking my love all to them. I love everybody in this whole school. Even though I not know them, I still love them. Kindness is contagious. Take it away.
Fourth grade feature. Hello, giraffes. Today I'm gonna talk about feelings. Here we go. This is sad. It could be that you're sick, tired, bored. This is happy. You could be calm, feeling okay, focused, ready to learn. This is yellow zone. It could mean you're frustrated, worried, mad. It could mean you're being mean, yelling, disgusted.
Hi Tower, hi, this is Mr. Dwyer. As you guys know, I am an English language teacher here at Hayes, and that means that I work with students who speak more than one language. Many of our students come to Hayes and they have different cultures that they share. One of the things that I think was really nice is that when our school went to distance learning, we were looking for a way that we could communicate together. And really, the Hayes Tower Talks, they came out of that idea that we wanted to be able to share ideas, share things that are going on, and communicate with one another. And I've been so proud to see how many of our families have taken part in this. We've had students sharing their culture. For example, I'm thinking back to last year, we had a student, Yasmin, who was so great. She and Miss Hussein were able to share their Somali language. We've had a student, Miguel. Miguel shared with us some of his Spanish language culture. We also had, at the beginning of this year, or earlier this year, I know we had Autumn, and what I thought was so cool about that was Autumn's mom actually participated in that, and she was able to tell us about the kind of dress that Hmong students wear, and that cultural holidays that belong to the Hmong culture. And I am just so excited. I am looking forward to more of this. I know it's opening up and we have more students coming soon. And even earlier this week, we know that Helen and her mom were sharing part of their culture, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how that will show up on our Tower Talk.
So I really love the Tower Talks because it gives people a chance to open up about their culture and about things that we might never see here at school, things that they have in their home life and in their family. And when we learned about Hmong culture from Autumn Vang and her mom and her brothers and sisters, we got to see some very special things, some special kinds of food and some special kinds of clothing and some special art. And when people saw that, it was really cool because other kids started coming to me and saying, you know, Mrs. Charles, I would really like to share about my culture. Can we share about Ethiopian culture? Can we share about Native American culture? And I just thought that was so cool, because I think until they saw Autumn sharing about her culture, they weren't quite sure how people would receive them or how they would talk about it. And it gave them this opportunity to finally share something that they always wanted to share.
Hi, I'm Autumn. My teacher is Miss Overly, and today we're learning about Hmong culture.
I wrote this because everything will be okay, because love is always coming, and now that's good. And you can't stop it from coming.
She was talking about a hat.
Yes, each clan, they have their own different costumes and hats. So with Autumn, they do have like a purple hat.
Oh, that's cool.
With the outfit, yeah.
When we are safe, responsible, and kind, it makes our school cool, happy, safe, and fun. Have a good day, Towers!
And basically, I just wanted to end with a quote by Maya Angelou. Love recognizes no barriers. It jumps hurdles, leaps fences, penetrates walls to arrive at its destination full of hope. When our kids have the opportunity to share who they are and bring that voice into our schools, it makes it a beautiful place to be. And I'm thankful and grateful for my tower. Thank you so much for your time today.
Chair Meisner, if I could,
Yes.
before you leave, as a parent of a Hayes kid, right, Emmett, thank you for doing something like this. This is really cool. Certainly shares a lot of stories of our staff and our students, and just wanted to let you know personally that I appreciate you. The other thing I'd like to bring up, I think you forgot something. We have a big event coming up, right? May 5th.
Yes.
I mean, you're on TV in front
I
of
know.
dozens of people.
We have a very exciting event that's happening on May 5th. It is our school carnival, and we are so excited because actually it is my first official in-person school carnival, and the kids are incredibly excited, our staff is incredibly excited, and our families are too. So I really would love for you to join us at our fun event on May 5th.
What time does it start?
It starts at 4 o'clock,
Right after school,
I believe,
pretty much, yeah.
until 6 o'clock.
And there'll be a
join
dunk
us.
tank, Dr. Heil.
Oh yes,
I'll
and
do it. I'll do it.
Mr. Carnup is helping so
You
much
first.
with
Deal.
getting us a dunk tank, and I am in it. So come dunk me; it'll be fun. Yeah, there's that.
You just said that on TV now.
Yes, that's okay. That's okay. So much fun.
We will have to swing by. It's my 5 months old. When we get up and make our coffee in the morning, we stand by the sliding glass door and he has to wave at Miss Lisa, and he watches all the kids walk by to school, and his little head just turns. He's super excited to be a big boy someday.
Oh, I love that.
Mhm.
A little giraffe.
Yes, he loves his Miss Lisa.
Yes. All right. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. It reminds us all that we are here for the students and the humanity of our schools and our staff, and not just budgets and policies and all these other things that we have to do along the way. Thank you so much. We get to have another presentation. We have Laura Seifert-Hertling coming up to talk to us about special services.
Thank you very much, Board Chair Meisner, board members, and Superintendent Heil. This evening, I'm going to present a little bit about what Special Services has been doing this year. I will say that this presentation was a collective effort by lots of different people who've put lots of great pictures in, because, as you know, Special Services encompasses lots of different areas. So I worked with a wonderful team to kind of capture some of the things we've been doing. So I need to do this, don't I? All right, so one of the things that we've been kind of working on and had some ideas around for many, many, many years now is when there's harm that's been done within a school setting, what do we do? What can we do? So, suspension has been used, and we still use suspension sometimes. Sometimes that's necessary, but maybe there's another way. Maybe there's something else before we use that. So this year, for only the past couple months, because we finally got staffing, because you all know staff has been a little bit of a barrier. We were able to get some people, and we have started our A2S program, is what we call it. And we really wanted to think about teaching skills. So when something's been done, how do we teach skills? And this is for our middle school, high school students. And that's kind of the what, and the why is, we know that suspension doesn't always work, right? We know that there are other things that we do. So when something happens, how do we pull in and support versus excluding? So that's kind of the what and the why. And this one is kind of the how, the logistics of it. So I will say Dr. Danielle Thompson really has taken the lead on this. As you know, she developed a behavior management handbook a couple years ago. She's been doing a lot of work with all of our administrators across the district. So we have a program. It's located here at the FCC, so we can pull students out of the middle school, high school settings just to kind of have a reset for a day. And Dr. Thompson works with the administration at the middle school and high school to kind of figure out students who would attend. Currently, we've had 42 middle school and high school students attend the program since we started this in February. So it really has been being used. And I've been down here working with the team every now and then just to kind of check in. And it's a teaching space. They work on their work, so they stayed caught up on their schoolwork, and they work on the restoring what's been done. So really it's that alternative mindset of trying to figure out what happened, and then they go back in the next day and they do some work within the building too. So it's been a really great positive experience. That's been some student feedback. They've had a positive experience, and it's kind of getting to root cause at times too. So hopefully more to come in future years about that program. Another scope of the work that we do is American Indian education. Jana Gunderson has been supporting this program for probably the last 4 to 5 years now. Also, we work with an organization called McGeezy, and McGeezy comes in once a week and works with some of our students to just work on some of those cultural pieces. They do some beading, some leather work. They talk about culture. We also do the Sugar Bush field trip every year, which you can see in the top right-hand corner. Those are students out sugar bushing, and that has been something that's been a very well-attended field trip for our Native students. And then we also had a drumming group that's come in, and kind of like Gailey talked about at Hayes, we really want to support culture. We want students to see themselves within the school and have opportunities for themselves to see themselves in the school. One other cool thing that we've been working on for probably about 3 years is we've been working to get the tribes, or the flags for the Minnesota tribes, and just a few weeks ago they were hung at the high school. So we have all of the flags at the high school hung now, so that was really great. Thanks to our custodial staff for doing that, because they worked on that with us. We also have been partnering and working with the Special Olympics. This has been very much so special ed teacher and led by our team members. It's been great. They came to me a few years back and said, we want to work with Special Olympics. We want to work with more unified. Again, this is inclusion, supports our equity inclusion work that we're doing, and we had a polar plunge. You can see Dr. Cochran and Dr. Thompson up in the corner over there taking the plunge this year, but it's been really fun to be able to work with them and really work with trying to expand some of the options. We have a unified PE class at the high school, so students can attend a PE class that also works with our students who have adapted Phi-Ed, who are in special education. So that's been a couple years now, so it's been expanding little by little. And also, as a part of that, we also did a week of Inclusion Week and Words Matter Day. So there are lessons that are promoted during that week, and then at the end, or on that Wednesday, the students take a pledge where they sign their name and talk about using respectful words instead of using the R word. And this is fun. This is our adapted bowling team. So we have 2 adapted sports. We have soccer and bowling. So this is our adapted bowling team this year, and Nick Grady is our head coach. And he's been doing that for about 5 years now, and we've had other people do it before then. But it's a really great opportunity for students to get out and build some skills and have opportunities to be able to be with each other. And this is one of the things, I think some of you might know that we've been working with Alina Health and Change to Chill, and our high school has a chill space where students can go kind of de-escalate. It's something that's probably been in place for maybe 3 or 4 years now. So one of the things we wanted to do to support some of those SEL needs this school year as students were coming back is we wanted to try to figure out what can we do K-8. So we wrote a grant. Dr. Heil and I wrote a grant, actually. It's really cool. And through Prairie Care, and we were awarded $10,000 to expand the efforts. So last summer, my team in my office worked to get input from all of the teachers at the elementary and middle school levels. What do you want in a chill kit? What would that look like for your grade level? And we really differentiated it for both elementary buildings and the middle school building. And it looked like Christmas in our office last summer because we were getting so many great things. And each classroom teacher and also specialist teacher and even our social workers, and I think even Miss Iverson, she probably left, I think she has one in her office too, has a chill kit. And they just have different kinds of calming tools. They might have some colored pencils with a coloring book or some fidgets. So just some different kinds of tools where, I just need a little bit of a break, and I can take that in my class now. So overall, like I said, it's a collective effort. There's lots of things going on in special services. But yeah, those are just some of the highlights from this year. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Laura. Again, continued great work and great progress. Thank you. And we have a third report from the staff, and that is, I believe, a required report on radon testing results from our own Barbie Raisler.
Thank you, Chair Meisner, board members, and Superintendent Dr. Heil. Yes, and so what I'm going to present is just information regarding school radon testing that we had done at the Fridley Middle School as well as the Fridley Community Center. So we received radon test kits on March 3rd of 2022. We did test for 4 days, and at the middle school we tested 97 rooms in which there is occupancy. We did not include weekends or holidays for those testings. So part of what then we need to provide information on is just how those results turned out. And so of the 97 rooms tested, all 97 had less than a 4 PCIL score, and so 0 rooms needed to be retested, and there is no mitigation that is needed in any of those rooms. The same type of information applies for the community center. Again, we received those tests on March 3rd. We tested for 4 days. We tested 41 rooms. None of those included weekends or holiday breaks. And they are, all the rooms were frequently occupied ground contact rooms that were tested. Again, of the 47 rooms, 41 rooms, all 41 had less than 4 PCIL, and thus 0 needed any mitigation. And there ends my report.
Thank you, Barbie. Good results. Moving on to our next action item, or our next agenda item, rather. We have business action items, and the first is the resolution for accepting gifts, as usual. Whereas School Board Policy 706 establishes guidelines for the acceptance of gifts to the district, and whereas Minnesota Statute 465.03 states that the school board may accept a gift, grant, or device of real or personal property only by the adoption of a resolution approved by 2/3 of its members. Therefore, be it resolved that the School Board of Fridley Public Schools accepts with appreciation the following gifts received by the school district. a donation from Anonymous to the Hayes Elementary School for a total of $5.60, and 2 persons donated to the Fridley High School for a total of $616, and that is Sue Gagnier for the Do Good Things Foundation and the Target Corporation. So if there's a motion to accept these gifts?
Motion to accept.
There's a motion.
Second.
And a second. We have a motion by Carnap and a second by Pruitt. We have to do a roll call vote. So Adam is not present. Ms. Anna?
Aye.
Carnap?
Aye.
Meisner says yes. Pruitt?
Aye.
Stark?
Aye.
And the motion passes. Thank you. So our next item of business is the approval of our transportation contracts for busing, and those contracts will be for Halo, R&D, and First Student, with some information presented by Barbie Raisler again.
Thanks again, Board Chair Meisner, board members, and Superintendent Dr. Heil. With me tonight is Cindy McKay, our transportation coordinator. Just to kind of briefly discuss the process in which we followed, we did begin this journey in February. So we did solicit vendors to be able to provide bids for our transportation contractor needs for the school district. We opened those bids on Monday, March 21st, and from that point forward, then we started to evaluate all of the bids and use particular metrics to best find the fit for Fridley that's going to serve our students in our district as needed. We did have 15 bids, 3 for our regular bus routes and 15 for our Type 3 needs. And after the evaluation process was done, we did decide that First Student would be the contract that we would bring before you for your consideration. And that, again, would serve all 28 of our regular route needs. There were different criteria that were used in trying to decide which company, which contractor would best fit our needs. And with our needs for GPS, different video, and as well as, we all are living in the staffing shortage of bus drivers and those kinds of things. And those are the items that rose to the top for us. And so that's why our choice for First Student is what is being brought before you. I think it's fair to acknowledge that we have had a very long-standing relationship with Voight Bus Contracting Service, and we are very, very thankful for them and the service that they have provided. And I think it's appropriate for us to thank them for all that they have done for us the last 35 years. The other 2 contractors that we are bringing forward to you are for our Type 3 bus service needs, and they are R&D Transportation as well as Halo Transportation. Our Type 3 criteria also had, we also had a set of metrics for that and the criteria that we needed for those. So we have used R&D Transportation and Halo pretty much exclusively. Pretty much, yes.
For the last number of years, and so we are bringing forward their quotes for your consideration to have a contract with them. It's also important to note that we do have an understanding with 2 other contractors, transportation contractors for Type 3 needs in Dynamic and United, and they are aware that we will be using them as needs permit. So again, what we are asking for is your approval of the 3 contracts that are before you tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Reisler.
Motion to approve those contracts.
So we have a motion.
Second.
And we have a second to approve. Any discussion from the board? Hearing none, all those in favor of the 3 contracts for busing transportation, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion passes. I would like to echo your appreciation for literally decades of service from Voight Busing, and hope that we continue to keep in touch with them. Our next item of business is a resolution for the termination and non-renewal of teaching contracts of certain non-tenured probationary teachers for 2022 to 2023. And we will invite Ike Isaacson to come up and discuss this.
Thank you, Board Chair Meisner, board members, and Superintendent Dr. Heil. We present to the board that document and the move to terminate the probationary status of a number of select teachers in Fridley Public Schools.
Very good. So, let me read this resolution first. Whereas for certain names listed below, being probationary teachers in Independent School District 14, be it resolved by the School Board of Independent School District 14 that pursuant to Minnesota Statute 122A.40, Subdivision 5, that the teaching contract of these teachers, these probationary teachers in Independent School District 14, are hereby terminated without pay or fringe benefits at the close of the current 2021-2022 school year. Be it further resolved that written notice be sent to said teacher regarding school board termination and non-renewal of his or her contract as provided by law. Is there a motion for this resolution?
Motion to approve resolution as written.
There's a motion.
Second.
And a second by Prueto. Was that? Couldn't tell where that came from. We have a motion by Carnop and a second by Prueto to approve the resolution to terminate and non-renew the teacher contracts of certain non-tenured probationary teachers for 2022 to 2023. This is a roll call vote. Adam is not present. Mr. Carnop?
Aye.
Mr. Meisner's aye. Prueto?
Aye.
Stark?
Aye.
Auna?
Aye.
And that motion passes. Our next item is a motion to approve the 2021-2023 Nutritional Services Master Agreement. And Ike, if you have anything to share, I invite you back to the microphone.
Again, thank you, Board Chair Meisner, board members, Superintendent Dr. Heil. I am privileged to affirm that our nutritional services staff roundly ratified the 21-23 Nutritional Services Master Agreement. We, of course, present at the board for your approval. Briefly, highlights include elimination of some constructive receipt language, some vacation time allocation, some competitive market adjustments, and frankly, we're grateful to complete this important work with our nutritional services group and honor and acknowledge their contributions.
Thank you so much, Ike. Is there a motion to approve this master agreement?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion from Prueto
Second.
and a second by Auna. This is a roll call vote. So, Mr. Meisner is yes. Ms. Prueto?
Yes. Aye.
Ms. Stark?
Aye.
Ms. Auna?
Aye.
And Mr. Carnop?
Aye.
This motion passes. Our next item is a motion for the second reading and adoption of policies. And I believe that will be Superintendent Heil.
Thank you, Chair Meisner and board members. This evening, I'm asking for a motion for the board to approve the second reading for Policy 201 and 202. Policy 201, which is the legal status of the school board, changes were made to the powers and the duties section as discussed at the March 1st board retreat. And Policy 202, school for school board officers, there was a corrected typo that was also discussed at that March 1st board retreat.
In addition, we have two other policies up for second reading and approval. That will be Policy 804 that Ms. Reisler might have something to say about. And Dr. Bodie, you'll be up next.
Got us in roll call. Thank you, Board Chair Meisner, board members, and Superintendent Dr. Heil. There are no changes from the first reading of Policy 804.
Thank you for sharing that with us. Dr. Bodie, have you got anything to say on Policy 524?
Good evening, Board Chair Meisner, board members, and Superintendent Dr. Heil. Present to you the second reading of Policy 524, Internet Acceptable Use and Safety Policy. There's no changes since the first reading.
Very good. Thank you for that. So we have 4 policies that have gone through a second reading and are up for adoption. If there was a motion to so do so.
So moved.
Oh, there's a motion over there. We have one.
Second.
And a second. So we have a motion by Stark and a second by Prueto. All in favor of these 4 policies, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And that passes. Our next item of business is a motion to approve the MSBA policy technical revisions to the Series 600 policy updates. And Superintendent Heil can tell us about that.
Thank you, Chair Meisner and school board members. So asking for a motion to approve the MSBA technical revisions for the Series 600 update, and that covers policy 603 under curriculum development, 604 under instructional curriculum, 605 alternative to programs, 606 textbooks and instructional materials, 608 instructional services and special education, 609 under religion with a word change that was discussed this evening by the board, 611 for homeschooling with a correction to a word for spelling incorrect, 613 for graduation requirements, and last but not least, 616 for school district system accountability.
Thank you, Dr. Heil. And I would like to point out that these policies are getting these minor technical legal updates outside of our normal biannual review of these policies, which will happen next year when we'll go over the content in more detail. Is there a motion to approve these policies?
Motion to approve.
There's a motion by Carnop. Aha, and a second by Stark. So we have a motion by Carnop and a second by Stark to approve the Series 600 updates from the MSBA policy technical revisions. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? And that motion passes. Our next item is the consent agenda. So the consent agenda is the routine action items, including minutes of our regular school board meeting, the work session held on March 15th, the special meeting on March 18th, and the work session on April 5th, all of 2022. The monthly financial reports, new contracts, amendments, leaves of absence, resignations, retirements, and terminations, the insurance for married spouses, MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, the MOU for probationary teachers, the agreement to provide special education and related staffing by Northeast Metro 916. Is there a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So moved.
There's a motion.
Second.
And a second. So we have a motion by Stark and a second by Prueto to accept the consent agenda. I would like to make a small personal privileged comment here, because in one of these consent agenda items is the leaves of absence, resignations, retirements, and terminations. And within that document, there is a name. Our Director of Finance and Operations has made some personal decisions to move to a different place to invest her talents. And I would like to acknowledge the outstanding service and leadership of Barbie Reisler, and to note that it has been a privilege to work with you.
I would like to second that. It's been great having you on the team. We're really going to miss you a lot.
And we consented with our lawyer about how to amend these documents to strike your retirement from them, but we were unable to do so. So, without further nonsense, all those in favor of the motion by Stark and second by Carnop to approve the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the consent agenda passes. So we have some first readings of policies, and we get to invite Dr. Bodie back to the speaker, to the microphone rather.
Good evening again, Board Chair Meisner, board members, and Superintendent Dr. Heil. I'm here tonight to present to you a first reading of Policy 509, Enrollment of Non-Resident Students. You'll see within it there's a few updates to just some language around Minnesota State statute, just better spelling out that and or adding in the statute number to be clear. And then as discussed in the work session, there's some adjustments to Part B around class size. So some of those updates will be made regarding updating the grade 5 range and rewording of some of the language, and bring that back for a second reading.
Excellent. Thank you. And for policy 515, I believe Mr. Isaacson is back in the hot seat.
The hot seat indeed. Thank you, Board Chair Meisner, board members, and Superintendent Dr. Heil. With respect to the first reading of policy 515, we have a 36-page policy. I won't go through it in detail, but nonetheless, we have several edits and updates to the policy, none of which meaningfully alter or influence the current protection and privacy of student records. The overwhelming majority of those edits are statute, section, and subdivision updates. However, to hit the high points, the following updates do merit acknowledgement, and as the board will note on page 1, there is a change to the general statement reflecting modern technology and online access. Pages 1 through 4 provide definitions clarified for both educational and non-educational records. Page 7 was altered to reflect students with a disability versus disabled students. That is an important distinction. It also expanded definition of information related to students with a disability. Pages 10 through 31 contain updates to reflect statute changes, disclosure protocols, and clarification of the responsible authority for record keeping. And finally, on page 32, you'll note there are updates to the policy reflecting the names and the titles of those district officials responsible for data requests.
Thank you, Ike. We have policy 530 on immunization requirements and policy 534 on unpaid meal charges. And it looks like Laura is coming up to share those.
Yes. Good evening again, Board Chair Meisner, board members, and Superintendent Heil. This evening, just a few changes to policy 530, student immunization requirements. There are two people that we can also get immunization records from that were added. Advanced practice registered nurse and physician assistant were added. And then there was also some statute language from 121A.15 subdivision 4 that talks about substitute immunization statements. So that has been added on page 1 under B as an addition to the policy.
Excellent. Thank you, Laura. And the unpaid meal charges is Ms. Reisler.
Thank you again, Board Chair Meisner, board members, and Superintendent Dr. Heil. The policy 534 school meals policy is a new policy for Fridley Public Schools. This policy is to address insurance that students receive healthy and nutritious meals, to make sure that everyone understands the expectation regarding meal charges, and also to minimize any identification of students with insufficient funds to pay for those school meals, as well as maintain the financial integrity of the school nutrition program. In this policy, then, we do talk about payment of meals and how that process works, and we've also listed different statutes that talk about those that are receiving free and reduced lunches, as well as those that pay. Section 3 of this policy talks about lower negative account balance notifications, and we will be making a slight revision to this for the second reading to indicate when a family or student is notified of a insufficient funds or a low balance. The policy also talks about unpaid meal charges and the family's responsibility, the district's responsibility, and then some of the ramifications of how that works. We want to ensure that there is no meal shaming or any of those kinds of things happening. Also, that we are prohibited from not allowing a student to take a field trip or join an activity due to unpaid meal or low meal balances. The final area of this policy talks about communication of the policy and where that data will be stored.
Very good. Thank you, Barbie. So that is just written information for the first reading, so there's no vote on that. And our next item of business are the reports from school board members who participated in associated organizations. And the first one on my list is Director Anna.
Yes, the biggest news with Northwest Suburban Integration School District is the Giving Voice Leadership Conference, which is on May 9th from 8:30 to 11:30, which is virtual. The purpose of the conference is to teach teamwork, leadership skills, and workplace values, promote interest in the field of education, and encourage students to enroll in post-secondary education.
Thank you, Ms. Anna. And our next item is Ms. Stark with the Northeast 916.
Sure, we had a NSBA conference report. We had 2 members attend the NSBA conference in San Diego. They attended sessions on advocacy and politics, community engagement, equity, mental health, and dealing with negative people, which actually they brought some really good information back on that one. They both reported it was a wonderful learning experience, and they were provided with valuable information to bring back to 916 as well as their own boards. We received an update from Shania Walker, the DEI manager. She presented some projects she's been working on since starting in her role on January 1 of 22. We had a first reading of the annual school board policy, 414. There were some changes to that. We also had some approval of some additional policies. There was a resolution discontinuing and reducing educational programs due to decreased enrollment. We approved the 22-23 school calendar. We had some recognition of years of service. We had 33 staff who completed 10, 15, 20, 25, or 30 years of service in 2022. We also renewed some insurance policies and discussed some long-term facility maintenance that was needed and went through some contract ratification.
Very good. Thank you, Ivana. Our next item of business is to review upcoming important school dates for the school board and otherwise. Our first item is the Schools for Equity in Education meetings on April 22nd at 9:30 a.m. in Roseville. We have the Fridley High School Spring Play coming up, and that is on April 21, 22, and 23 at 7 p.m. here in the Fridley High School auditorium. We have a school board closed session planned to discuss the evaluation results of the school board and superintendent on May 3rd at 5:30 p.m. That is a closed session. We have the Northeast Metro 916 board meeting on May 4th at 6 p.m. at the Bel Air Education Center. I will point out also that May 5th is again the Hayes School Carnival from 4 to 6 p.m. On May 6th, we have the AMSD, the Association of Metropolitan School Districts board meeting at 7 a.m. at the Quora Education Center. Our next Fridley Public Schools board meeting is May 17th here at the Community Center, which starts at 5:30 with a working session, 7 with a public forum to address the board, and 7:30 for this business meeting. On the 18th of May, we have the Northwest Suburban Integrated School District Joint Powers Board meeting at 6:15 p.m. And on May 30th, Memorial Day, there is no school.
Chair Meisner?
Yes.
You forgot something very important.
I did. What did I forget?
Prom.
Prom.
May 7th.
Prom.
You have a senior going to prom. I'm surprised.
Trust me, I have not forgotten about prom. Trust me on this one. What's the date on that?
May 7th. Saturday.
May 7th.
Yep.
And that ends around 10 o'clock, right? And they'll be home and in bed? Right?
Yeah.
That's what I was told.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything else from the board?
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn and a second. We have a motion by Carnop and a second by Pruito to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all.